You know, I started my formal practice in Zen Buddhism, and in Zen there's lots of sitting, lots. And the thought even hadn't occurred to me. I had joined Tibetan Buddhist teachings here and there before and during my Zen years, but didn't really have like a good picture of Tibetan Buddhist culture. And then after my Zen years, when I started joining Tibetan Buddhist events more, I realized that, oh, these people don't know how to sit. It's like elaborate practices, but they don't know how to sit still. Of course, doesn't apply to everybody, but then at some point I learned that in Tibetan Buddhism there has never been like a group sitting practice. Group reading prayers a lot, doing all kinds of ceremonies and rituals, offerings a lot, but not silent sitting. I still kind of don't understand it. Chogyam Trungpa, who was one of the first Tibetans to teach in the West, I don't endorse the man at all, but he got the idea from Japanese Zen teachers in US, and he was the first Tibetan who introduced silent sitting, silent group sitting, as far as I know anyway. But yeah, knowing how to sit is really important. You know, if you're sitting on a chair, assuming that you don't have any big acute back problems or other pains in the body, you should be able to sit still for an hour at least without moving. It's like if you ask some kind of standard, minimum an hour without without any of that. Yeah, just learning to be with the body, in the body. That's very important, and you can't learn it without sitting. That's the thing. That's the thing. You only unify the body and mind by being present in the body. Something that is relevant to this, that was mentioned earlier, is standing practice. We also have standing practice in Amrita Mandala as part of Immortality exercises / Amrita Asana Yoga. I stand on most days, might be just a couple of minutes, sometimes maybe half an hour, but standing is an excellent way to unify body and mind, excellent way to address the astral body, and especially that part of astral body that is connected with the gut center, the lowest dantian. But again, I'm just saying this as a matter of fact, that when we speak of going after Buddhahood and aiming at removing all these internal obstacles and attaining Buddhahood in this life, the way to do it is through mastering the practices. And mastering the practices, just like learning how to play the piano, becoming a surgeon, or any art, doesn't happen without training. So, like I already referred to earlier, if you really, I'm not saying that it is somehow inferior to practice half an hour or hour and a half, something like that. But if you really want to master the practices, if you want to be certain that you will attain Buddhahood in this life, then you have to make a time commitment. You have to clear away time from your daily calendar and get on with it. And that's how, whether it's we have Sangha members who some practice for 5-6 hours a day and have done it for years. But doing such a time commitment, let's say 3 hours onwards, it really gives a very different kind of momentum for practice when you get that going. Very different kind of momentum. During my first retreat that lasted for 8 years and 10 months, I was sitting 8 hours a day at least. Full day's work. But not more than that. There are yogis who sit 22 hours a day. My retreat wasn't even close to such intensity. Of course, practices vary, and what also varies is a lifestyle that affects it. What varies is the climate. What varies are genes. How do you need to eat, and so on. So all these factors have an impact on the whole. But I do know of people who have full-time jobs, and then they still practice 8 hours a day. I know such lineages where such a thing is recommended for people who want to become good at it. I've been talking about this theme, professional yogis in the West, for many years, and that's what I'm talking here. Becoming a pro, or if not a pro, like actually becoming like a teacher and passing the practices for others, then at least becoming very good at it. Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Baba, or a comment
Go
to
ahead,
this?
please.
So, when I started my path, I set up to 7 hours also daily. I sat for 2.5 years like that. I missed one, so I was very dedicated. Uh, these days, I find that my explanation is my life force has opened up so much that whatever I do or touch, wherever my attention goes, it's almost like it's so supercharged. So even just sitting still, it starts such a process of undoing that 4 hours at this point in my experience, it becomes way too intense in terms of dissolution and like managing. If I do 1 hour of tantric practice, and it's like it can go on for 3 days, the supercharge effect. So I'm curious what your experience is. I know you practice a lot. You also, a lot of energy is moving. So I'm still trying to find that balance between, activating, but not. Sometimes I sit for an hour, I do some Dzogchen instructions, and the meditation continues for 3 days.
Um, you are in, I can see that you are in an okay physical shape. You don't have clothes on, so I can see it right away. I don't have to ask. But how about your diet? Are you a vegetarian or do you eat meat?
No, I eat pretty clean diet. I also eat meat. I like meat more. It grounds me more. I don't like being vegetarian.
Yeah, yeah, good.
Yeah.
I don't like being vegetarian either. Well, I was a vegetarian for, just to let everybody know that. I was a vegetarian for 15 years, and with my northern genes, I actually have Eskimo Inuit genes, and it completely wrecked my health. So I've been eating meat for 6 years now and have felt much better. But okay, so getting lots of energy from short sessions of practice. And
Not just energy, the dissolution process and the karma, the amount of karma it brings up to clarify is a, I mean, even normally I don't even sit for a formal practice. I'm just living life, and life itself, there is such an undoing happening by just meeting every moment with openness.
when was
So
when was the last time you tried to sit more without doing anything?
it's been a few years other than when I'm on retreat. So I've done dark retreats, for example, where I'm in it's okay when I'm in dark retreat. I did a 30-day dark retreat last time. And when I'm not dealing with life, it's just when I do tantric practices, it takes me in a very different direction. I stop caring about everything to do with it's just yeah, it's hard to explain, but
You have to explain. So you stop caring about.
daily responsibility, like it's just the direction of my consciousness completely turns in a different direction. And then I wonder, well, why the hell am I even in family life? I could just go in a hut and just sit all like the interest completely shifts.
Yes, okay, now I understand what's the deal. So you have to, your energy is too high. It's
Mhm.
still balanced energy, you know, but it is too high. So you are working with upper dantian mostly. You have to start working with the lowest one, the one in the
Yeah,
belly.
yeah,
So just do simple, quiet sitting where your focus, your energy, your attention is here. I'm showing my hands where the lowest dantian is.
yeah.
Start doing that, and you stop having that problem, and also the effect like you've experienced for a few years that. Like you just explained, that dissolution and lots of energy, and it lasts for 3 days, that will completely subside.
Okay,
So it is an imbalance between the dantians.
okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
So even standing practice, I've been called to just stand, like tree pose, things like that, I guess will help.
Tree pose.
Yeah, like I don't know what
Oh,
they
yes,
call it.
tree hugging. Yes. Uh,
Not hugging the trees, no, standing like a tree where you root with the legs into the ground. Even you do standing practice, right? I thought
yes.
it's called tree something, tree standing.
Okay. But when you put your arms like this, I thought you meant that posture
No,
way.
no, no. I just mean like Wuji, like Wuji Gong or in Tai Chi, they stand like that. I didn't mean like hugging the tree.
Yes, but the thing with please put your arms, your body like you usually stand, and do what you do for half a minute. I will check one thing.
I never do it, but I've been interested to do it.
Ah,
And what you
okay,
said now, I just connected like, okay, that could be related to
okay,
ground.
yes. Okay, I see, I see. So the thing with just sitting, embodied sitting or embodied standing, is
Mm.
that if I try to demonstrate to you a little bit, you can sense the energy in my body and kind of look at what I do with my arms. So it is not like that. It's not like this. I am feeling my arms, but not really connected to them. Now see the difference when I click a switch. Put your arm up if you notice the difference. Okay, good enough. So it's exactly the same thing with embodied sitting. Lots of people do embodied sitting, not having this connection, not really connecting with the body, and that's not right. So what you learn when sitting from the lower dantian is that you develop this physicality. Your awareness starts becoming physical. That's the key. It's the same thing with standing practices, that there's a lot of these empty, stupid standing, people standing like just doing the posture physically, hugging a tree or doing different postures, but that connection is missing. And if it's missing, it's not correct practice.
What I'm sensing when you show the difference is when you do the connection, you're filling, your presence is filling actually the arms. That's what I feel you're doing. You're filling it up. So
Yes.
you mean do that when I'm sitting in the embodiment, make sure my consciousness is kind of filling and
I'll explain this to you in a nutshell. So there is a Chinese word "yi" written "yi", "yi", like that, and it means intent. I translate it as physicalized concentration. Concentration that is physicalized. So that our ability to use willpower, which is, in other words, the use of concentration, we are physicalizing it. Not only mental power, like not only mental energy, but we are physicalizing. So those of you who have done Vajra bodies for more than 1 year, here's how to do this, or when you are sitting, here's how to do apply E. So in Vajra body, we flex all muscles of the body at the same time. Right? Do that flexing without muscles getting tensed. Try it now. So you are squeezing, but the muscles are not getting activated. Like in the gym, if you are lifting weights, or if you're doing the full Vajra body where your muscles are getting flexed, that's one thing. But this E, how to feel your body, is doing exactly the same thing without the muscles getting activated. The muscles can get activated a little bit, but just a little bit. That's the secret there. But that's a way to solve your problem. Okay, so Matteo, now you can start sitting half a day, shouting hungpets with your daughter.
yeah, no, thank you for that. It makes sense that it's a Dantian imbalance, and my consciousness is moving intuitively towards the gut more and more. But that makes a lot of sense because when I was sitting up to 7 hours, I had a teacher who was just teaching wrong. And we did these practices. We would do Kriya, spinal breathing, but he said, don't do the downward movement, just shoot it up all the time. He said, who cares about the downward movement? So, I created some imbalances there in my system.
But you're lucky that you didn't develop like a worse imbalances.
It's taken years to fix them, so I
Okay,
have a lot of integration work. Yeah.
okay, yeah. How about your sleep? Is your sleep okay?
Yeah, my sleep is good. Yeah, everything is generally good.
Yeah, you have a very good, what's the English word? Constitution. Very good constitution. So
Mm. Mm. What do you mean? You mean physically, energetically, or what do you mean with that constitution?
physically, your body type and your like ancestral, your body type, your genes,
Yeah,
that's helped you.
yeah, yeah. I have a strong body. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Any
Yeah.
other questions?
The explanation you just gave for yi is the use of yi is really interesting. It seems the word intent, which I think you used, seems very accurate. Then, doesn't it? It's the intent, let's say, to activate the muscles without actually activating the tendons and the muscles and stuff. So intent seems a pretty accurate description. We're intending to do this, but we're not actually doing it muscularly.
Yeah. But that intent is in anything. Like if your wife Susie picks up a telephone, somebody is calling to you and shouts to you, Rob, there's a phone call to you, and you're sitting on a couch, and that moment when you are beginning to start moving from the couch, starting to stand up and start moving, there is first an intent, and that intent is there as long as you keep walking towards the phone, picking it up, and starting to talk. There's all these moments, there is the the intent is there. This is in everything, we use it. But again, we are isolating this for practice purposes. Same like when you have a ready, set, go in sports. It's the ready, you take a position physically. Set is when you charge the E. You charge the body so that when go hits, you're ready to shoot out like a jump or run like a tiger. It's that set. It's that what happens with the set. So sitting with set, standing with set. And here also we need to, we need to understand that, if you are sitting or standing with that E activated, perhaps longer than 1-2 minutes in the beginning, it can get very tiring. Same like dynamic concentration, shouting. It is helpful to shout maybe 100, 200, 300, 500, which takes 10 minutes, something like that. But if you try to keep doing it for hour and a half, 5,000 shouts, then you will have, you get tired, and that's unhelpful. That's not helpful application of the practice. So that's why we do it shouting in intervals, and we do it for some time, but then we stop doing it. Same thing with E, whether you're standing or sitting, intervals. Activate it for some time, maybe half a minute, something like that, and then relax for a moment. Half a minute, 2 minutes, depending on where you are. And then after some time again, watch your body without muscle flexing. Whole body. And then relaxing. like that. So skillful application is so important. I've seen it all day long in, Chan Zhuang and Tai Chi circles in Chinese internal martial arts, as well as in Zen, that people just overdo it. And then for most of the time, they're not learning anything or skillfully applying anything. They're doing the form, but nothing really is happening. Nothing is learned. Nothing is cultivated. Yeah.
I think also, which I know you've spoken on before, I think a lot of masters don't really explain this, and whether that's deliberate or whether whether it's just lost in translation, as we say, I don't know. But when I've read books on, Jamjong and various things, and Nietzsche and this whole sort of stuff, they'll make the statement, "Oh yeah, Yi is intent," but you're the first person I've come across who's actually explained what that actually means in
Yes.
terms that we understand.
Yes, that's exactly right. I have met a couple of very good Chanzhuang, Yichuan teachers, but most of them were as teachers, as how do you say, pedagogics? Do you say that also? As pedagogues were awful. They didn't know how to teach. So myself, when I started learning standing practice, I had to spend 7 years to have any sensation. It was that bad, the pedagogy. What was I meaning to say? Yes, but also when it comes to there was another remark that just passed my mind. Maybe it'll come back to me. But also doing standing practice as a cultivation practice, so that it cultivates the body of light, leads to it. There is kind of flirtation with that theme, but Rani, my spouse, she spent a period in Wudang Mountain in China training 15 years ago in a Taoist tradition, and I don't know if there are any real Taoist masters anymore existing. Honestly, So it's the same thing in world of Ati Yoga, Chokchen, that lots of people know the exactly right terminology, but then you have only 1 or 2 or 3 worldwide who have the experience, who teach from experience. It's exactly like that. So again, there was something else I was meaning to say, but it slipped my mind. It was something you said, but maybe it'll come back to me. Oh, go ahead, Rani.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that, do you want to say something about the black light you said earlier? Or is it too late?
It's too late. We don't have time for that.
Okay.
She was asking about the black light that I was referring to yesterday.
And we had this conversation this morning, and
I didn't hear the conversation.
I told you this morning, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Maybe I will just wrap up my introduction from yesterday about the black light and wrathful deities, that the reason why we have wrathful deities also in Amrita Mandala, most of our deities are wrathful deities, is because digging out the roots of the poison plants, all of them, digging out as effectively as possible. So wrathful deities who are not tantric archetypes of bright colors, but black in color, dark blue, dark red, dark colors. That's where our baggage is in subconscious. That's why there are wrathful deities in Tantra.